Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning. We will call to order the August 10th, 2026 City of Detroit Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Can I get a roll call, Director Brett?
Good morning, board members.
Morning.
Board Member Sherman. Board Member Watson. Board Member Campbell.
Here.
Board Member Johnson. Board Member Bowman. Board Member Parker.
Here.
Present.
Board Member Osborne. Chairperson Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you do not have a quorum. Board Member Osborne will not be here today.
Okay. I see him out front talking to somebody. Okay. Hey, Bowman. Sorry, we'll recess him to the call as chair when we establish quorum.
Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, we will call back to order our meeting. Can we get a roll call, please, Director?
Good morning, board members. Board Member Sherman. Board Member Watson.
Here.
Board Member Campbell.
Here.
Board Member Carr.
Here.
Board Member Johnson. Board Member Bowman. Board Member Parker.
Present.
Board Member Osborne. Chairperson Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, any procedural matters?
Yes. It is my suggestion, Mr. Chairman, that when we have a quorum of 5 board members, that we consider, and I use the word consider, adjourning a case so that the absent board members may hear the recording and be a part of the case. If we have 6 board members, it makes it a little bit more fair. But when we have only 5 board members, I don't think it gives the petitioners the advantage that they should have if they had a full board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and well noted, and I concur. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes dated July 27th, 2026?
So moved.
Second? All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any communications, Director Brown?
No communications?
Miscellaneous business?
Yes. A few weeks ago, I shared information with you about Detroit Champions for Hope. This week, we are having a popcorn sale. And when I walk by, if you're interested, you can scan this and purchase some popcorn to support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will adjourn until our first case is in at 9:15.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we will call our meeting back to order, and the chair recognizes Member Johnson. All right, Director Ibron is our first case in.
Yes, and once again, just in case the recording wasn't on, we did receive a communication from a petitioner asking that communication be added to today's agenda, which I did forward to you all an email last week, and it is in the record for today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
BZA case Oh, also, the recording from July 27th, 2026 is posted on YouTube. BZA case 2026-00046, City Council District Number 3. The BZA petitioner is William Holly. The location is 15072 Gratiot between Fairmount and Eastburn in a B4 Dental Business District. William Holly appeals the decision of Building Safety and Engineering and Environmental Department BC SLU 2022-00069. Decision date May 18th, 2023. Effective date June 1st, 2023, which denied the establishment of a tobacco retail store in an 847 square foot tenant unit of an existing 6,165 square foot strip mall within a B4 zone general business district. We will now hear from Inspector Peerable.
Thank you, Director. We're here in this case today because the Board of Zoning Appeals shall hear and decide appeals from and review any order, requirement, decision, or determination that is made by an administrative official in the administration of this zoning ordinance, or any decision made by the Building and Safety Engineering Department involving conditional uses, regulated uses, or controlled uses, or any denial of a site plan by the Planning and Development Department. We're here in this case under Section 54-101, jurisdiction over appeals of administrative decisions, and 53-281 general approval criteria. Here in this case, under the legal description attached, our attorney will assess ownership. The BC's denial letter effective July 7th, 2025 states, I believe that's 2026. The current legal land use of the subject property is a strip mall under building permit 61741 issued in November of 2002. The proposed development consists of the reoccupation of a vacant 929 square foot tenant space within the existing 8,742 square foot strip mall to establish a tobacco retail store. BC held a hearing reconsidering the requested use on May 20th, 2026. In addition to City of Detroit personnel appearing on behalf of BC and the Planning and Development Department, participants in the hearing included the applicant, Mr. Holly. No one spoke in support or opposition. Preliminary site plans submitted on April 18th, 2026 were approved by BC on May 1st, 2026. A letter by Planning Development dated June 12, 2026, recommending a denial of the requested use. Based on the site plans and other information presented, BC's compliance with the following aspects of the requested use were addressed. Off-street parking under Section 5014-2-3. The off-street parking requirement for a tobacco retail store are identical to the current retail land use. No additional off-street parking is required. Under careful consideration, BC was unable to make the required findings under Section 53-281. One finding is that BC is unable to make the required findings that the establishment, maintenance, location, and operation of the requested use will not be detrimental to or endanger the social, physical, environmental, or economic well-being of surrounding neighborhoods, or aggravate any pre-existing physical, social, or economic deterioration of surrounding neighborhoods. Of note in making this finding, BC found that while there are no current spacing or overconcentration requirements for tobacco retail stores in Chapter 50 of the ordinance, some suitability concerns remain. First, the subject site is situated within a block of an existing beer, wine, and liquor store, which also carries tobacco products. That location is at 14999 Gratiot, across the street. Additionally, there is a motor vehicle filling station at 15131 Gratiot, which also sells tobacco-related products. Due to the presence of existing tobacco establishments and the close proximity to densely populated residential areas on Eastburn Street and Fairmont Drive, the requested use could have a long-term deleterious impact and hardship upon the surrounding residential neighborhood. The second finding was that BC was unable to make the required findings that the requested use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the immediate vicinity for the purposes permitted. In note of making that finding, they stated that the requested use is directly across the street from an emergency shelter, which is the Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries at 5063 Gratiot, and an inpatient psychiatric hospital, Stonecrest Center at 15,000 Gratiot. Due to the close proximity to the requested use to these sensitive demographics, the increased availability of tobacco-related products could potentially be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the immediate vicinity. And those were the reasons that BC denied the requested use of a tobacco retail store in an 847 square foot tenant space of a strip mall. This is a front view of the subject property in question, where you see the truck in the middle, that is the unit before the board. Again, a front view of the specific unit in this strip mall. Another front view of that unit. Long view of the entire strip mall. View looking down the frontage of the subject property, looking down Gratiot, looking to the north. Block opposite, Detroit Rescue Mission, that was mentioned in BC's letter, and the beer and wine store across the street. View looking down Gratiot, looking to the south. Block opposite on Gratiot. Another view of the parking area for the strip mall. The unit in particular is to the south. Again, this is the unit right here with this black truck in the middle. And just another view looking down Gratiot. Again, you'll see that beer and wine store and the Detroit Rescue Mission that BC mentioned in their letter. And the gas station they also mentioned in the letter on the opposite side of this residential street. And that concludes the visuals, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So there's a gas station and a party store?
The gas station is immediately to the north of the subject property. The liquor store is across the street, a little bit to the south on Gratiot, on the opposite side of Detroit Rescue Mission. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Are you Mr. Holly? Yes.
Yeah, come on up.
Good afternoon. If you could please state your name and address, and Inspector Fearful will swear you in.
Okay, thank you. Put your name and address on the record for me.
Morning, my name is William Holly Jr.
Your address?
My address is 13120 Glenfield Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48213.
Would you raise your right hand for me? You affirm your testimony before the board today is true?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Holly, the first thing we have to do is determine that you have standing to speak and represent the building or property, in this case, tenant suite. And we're going to do that with Attorney Savage.
Good morning. I'm Erica Savage on behalf of the Law Department. These questions, Mr. Holly, are designed to assess your standing pursuant to Section 50-3-3 of the City of Detroit zoning ordinance. Any party that petitions the Board of Zoning Appeals must possess sufficient standing, which means you either have a legal interest in the property or you're authorized by the property owner to appear here today on their behalf. The City of Detroit Law Department did a search of the public records for the property at 24514 West McNichols, and we obtained a warranty deed recorded on April 14th, 2020. I have a typo here, I'm sorry. Well, a warranty deed at Liber 56085, page 160. And the deed reflects the owner as Buddy's Properties LLC. I noticed in your packet that you submitted a lease.
Yes.
And that lease is between Buddy's Properties and William Holly.
Yes.
And it states also that you operate in an individual capacity.
Yes.
Okay, so could you please just state a little bit about your relationship with Buddy Property? I know I put it on the record, but in your own words.
I actually met them. They're my leasing. I guess the management company. I leased it through them.
You're speaking to the
You
mic.
just speak up a little bit, please.
The property. That's the property. I believe the management company that runs the property. I believe, and I contacted him through the ad that was on the window. That's how I was
Okay.
able to lease.
Okay, and so this project, you're doing it in your individual capacity? There's no partnership, there's no,
It's just me.
okay. Will there be anybody else that's authorized to speak on your behalf?
No.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I am satisfied with the lease in the sense that it gave him authorization to do permits and zoning decisions with the city. So based on that, the statements placed on the record, I'm satisfied with his standing to proceed.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Savage. All right, Mr. Holly, could you please explain to you what brings you before the Board of Zoning Appeals today?
Okay. My statement to the board.
Yes.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is William Holly. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before the board today regarding my appeal at 15072 Gratiot Ave. I'm asking the board to overturn my denial of my application to establish a tobacco and retail store at this location. I understand the concerns about a BSC. I know the letters are BSEED decision about
Yes. Okay, we're having trouble hearing you, so if you could speak directly into the microphone.
okay, I was
There, that's a lot better.
okay, just I'm sorry once again. I heard your question. I'll just explain my statement to the board
Yeah.
that I
that's
wrote
fine.
for today.
Yeah, we just need to know what you have planned over there and you know, what brings you here today, you know, why you've been denied, that type of thing.
Okay, great. Okay. Because I apologize. This is my first time I actually
Okay.
was trying to get everything together because it's my first time doing, trying to run a business and everything and trying to
Yeah, I
have
got you.
everything in order. So,
Yeah, no problem.
um,
Just take a deep breath, relax, and
yeah.
we're not the boogeyman. You'll be all right.
Okay. Yeah, so I did write a statement to the board this morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is William Holly. I appreciate the opportunity to appeal before the board today regarding my appeal at 15072 Gratiot. I am asking the board to overturn my denial of my application to establish a tobacco and retail store at this location. I understand the concerns identified in the BSEED decision. I am committed to operating a legal and safe and clean professional management business. I had actually wanted to establish a business over here, a tobacco and retail store at that area because it's been an empty area for so long, and my twin stays right on Eastburn, so I've been going past there a lot, and I've always wanted to establish a store where I can have how can I say this different type of essential products that can be offered that's different, and it's the first business that I really actually wanted to start and try something new. And I did everything they asked me to do step by step. And I thought it was approved at first, and then it got denied down the line. I just didn't know why.
You've already built the space out,
Yes, I did everything they asked
so
me
you're
to do.
basically ready to go.
I have three more clearances that I have to go through. That was the property maintenance clearance they had wanted me to do with make sure everything was updated with the inspections. So I was going through all that. So I had like three more I had to complete, and everything were done. But when I came with a denial, it kind of gave me a, give up. I was giving up until they told me that I can appeal it and come in front of y'all, which I've never done before. I'm kind of nervous. So
Sure, that's all right.
and here today,
You should be nervous. It's your livelihood we're talking about.
absolutely, and that's why I've been trying to make sure I got everything in order step by step. And I've been trying. I literally haven't even been to sleep. I got off work at 6 this morning and really been thinking about this. So I work midnights and try to run the store in the morning. But with the decision came down, kind of discouraged me until I was able to appeal it. So I'm just really trying to have everything in order for the city, everything with the state, and just trying to start a business. I mean, I have a family. I have 5 daughters. Trying to show them something different, like just trying to basically uplift. Really,
Are you a Detroiter?
I can hear you.
Are you a Detroiter? You live in the
Yes,
city?
yes. Born and raised.
Any questions from the board for the applicant? Member Watson?
Did I understand you to say that you lived on Glenfield?
Yes.
That's in that, right there in that area, right?
Yes, right up the street, down Grass, right where the ninth precinct is. I'm right
How
there.
long you been over
I've been over there since 2011.
there? 2011, thank you.
Yep. Before that, I was on Gratiot and Hazel Ridge, right up
Okay.
before 6 Mile area.
So what we're looking at today is the fact that you've been denied by the city for your special land use. And the reason that they're saying that is that they believe that there's a kind of two things. First off, that for lack of a better word, I can't really think of a different word, but that your business maybe creates a little bit of a threat, if you will, to like Detroit Rescue Mission Ministries and the other psychiatric place. I'm assuming because they think that people are going to walk across the street and, you know, get tobacco products and sneak stuff in and, you know, those types of things. So I'd like you to speak to two things. Number one, that basic scenario. And then the other thing is that, so the second thing is an over concentration, right? So they're saying there's already a party store up the road, you know, liquor store up the road. And what was the other thing? There's a liquor
Gas
store
station.
in the gas station. So what do you propose that's going to be different about your location other than those other two locations?
Well-
What's different with your operation and what you have proposed? What's different than your typical party store that's selling, you know, vapes and tobacco and the other store that's doing the same?
I only with mine it's only I only cater to the adults, the ones I that comes in, I can check their IDs and everything like that. I have like no underage kids can come in or anything like that to be able to see anything like that. And on the door, I also have postings of 21 and up. Um, really, in Detroit Rescue Mission. Since I've been over there, I haven't really seen anyone from over there even interact or come over really to the smoke area or over to ask about any tobacco and vapes. And what I do is like even with me putting up the cameras and everything like that, I spoke with the neighbors because what happened is I guess it was like before there were break-ins, you know, constant. So what I did was I did do everything they asked, put up security cameras and everything like that. So I haven't seen anything that was really negative over there. So with them directly across from me, like I just really haven't seen anyone come out of there as far as like coming over for tobacco or any of those type of products, even though we're not even open yet.
Okay.
And like I do see them a lot walk to the gas station as well, but I only cater to the adults, you know, and different things. It's not like how can I say to a lot of tobacco products. It's more, I should say, essential, like trays. I have trays. It's I say the things that they use, I guess, use lighters, grinders, different things of that aspect. I don't really like no cigarettes or anything of that, like that they can come in or try to
you're-
get like that.
So you're not selling cigarettes, you're selling supplies.
Yes,
So
it's
so
more.
basically I can come in and I can uh choose whatever type of tobacco I want,
Well,
however I want to, you know, blend it with you know, herbs or anything like that. I can get a grinder, I can get papers.
lighter, like
Lighter.
different essentials, not more so like cigarettes or anything like that. I wasn't trying to go that route, like selling those, and even with
Are you gonna
like
carry vapes?
I can hear you.
Vapes?
Yeah, the vapes. Yep,
Okay.
yes.
They seem to be more popular now than cigarettes.
And it was also I was going towards the hookah, but I decided to snatch back with all that and just have the essential things with that as well. And I just seen what was going on with the vape, so I was going to kind of pull back on that as well because finding distributors it's hard. It's really hard for me with trying to get a lot of these things. So a lot of stuff like I really been doing is like going to different like little shops or like wholesale shops
Sure.
and trying to get like more so of the different type of accessories.
And your testimony today is that you're not really necessarily into the cigarette market, you're into the cigarette supply market where somebody can come in and get whatever it is that they need in order to roll their own cigarette.
Thank you. Yes.
Gotcha. Any other questions for the petitioner? Oh, boy, we got everybody. Member Watson.
You can let her go first.
Okay. Chivalry is active at the board.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. Just for my own edification, can you say what products you will be selling? I heard the conversation with the chair and the exchange, but just so I understand, what are the products that will be sold in that you're proposing to sell in your business?
Oh, they're like essentials. They have like lighters that come apart that have what they call, I can't really remember what they call them. I wrote a list of it.
I need you to speak in the mic.
Oh, okay. There are like lighters that come apart, trays, grinders. It's like a list of different things that essential things that you can use. Far as what else did I have on that list? I would have shirts. There's a lot of different things on that list.
Can I go now? Mr. Chair, I have
Yes.
clarify. So this is not a tobacco shop where you will be selling any cigarettes, any pipe tobacco pipes and all that
Yes.
kind. You would not, or you will.
Yes, the tobacco, like the pipe, the ones that the tobacco that goes in there. Yes, I will.
And you will be selling pipe tobacco
Like the bags?
Yeah.
No,
You will
no,
not.
no bags. Like nope. The essential, like you said, the little, the little the cigar pipe thing that the stuff that goes into them. Yes, I will be selling that. Not more so the stuff that they smoke. Not
Okay.
that.
And so you're not doing the cigarettes, tobacco products themselves.
Correct.
There's a special license. There's a special license.
You have to.
for that?
Yes, you have to
And
do.
you have that license.
I did apply for a tobacco retail license and I didn't, I got it, I had uploaded, I got a certificate still for that, just in case if they did ask me for it. I did apply for a certificate for it, but I didn't apply for any vendors for like cigarettes or anything like that, because I didn't plan on having any cigarettes or anything of that aspect on hand, just the essential products for it.
So basically, you're doing hardware for smoking any product.
Yes.
Everything that goes with it, not necessarily the cigarettes and tobacco.
Right. Correct.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Holly.
Good morning.
So I just want to say, to begin with, I'm grateful that there are new businesses coming to District 3. I do live in District 3 and represent District 3. I just had a few questions. What is your plan? Because I know that you mentioned you haven't seen a lot of traffic from Detroit Recovery, the shelter across the street, DRH, Detroit Recovery Rescue Mission, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But what is your plan to keep, or what do you have a plan to keep that business safe from, because you'll be selling essentially smoking products across the street
yes.
from a shelter with individuals who may be going through substance use disorder treatment. Is there a plan to, like, what's the plan to keep those businesses separate or keep those individuals safe?
From coming in?
Right, or advertising, like what was that a consideration when you rented this retail space?
Well, when I did rent the retail space, I did because I used to work at a tax office there, and I mean that's been across for so long, and I didn't really more so. I did look it up and see that it was a women's and kids shelter, and that's why I said more so dedicated towards the adults than the kids, and I put up a sign and everything. So like within the plaza or where I'm at, I didn't really how can I, let me see, I'm trying to think. I didn't really more so so sorry.
It's okay.
I have a point of
With the
clarification.
children, that's what I wasn't really more so focused on selling anything to any type of minor whatsoever. That's why I was going more so for the adult side, and that's why I put up I would put up cameras, the 21 and up sign, no soliciting, and all those other signs up there. But I wasn't more so thinking that selling to any type of kids.
Oh. And my second question, Mr. Holly, is how many staff do you plan on having in the business?
3.
Okay, thank you.
We have a point of clarification from Member Watson.
Concerning the Detroit Rescue Mission, last year they came before us for an variance for an appeal. I believe, excuse me, I believe they have been denied. And as part of their presentation was around their strict adherence to the client restrictions. And the reason you don't see a lot of traffic around Detroit Rescue missions is because they do not allow that. It is a pretty regulated environment, and there's not a lot of back and forth allowed. And part of their presentation again was that they would supervise and restrict their membership to certain activities. And one of the reasons, again, that you don't see many people loitering around because it's not allowed on the outside.
Any other questions for the petitioner? I have one. How much have you invested so far?
A little bit over 26,000.
26?
Yes.
About $26,000 you've invested already?
Yes. What they were asking me to do.
Okay.
More, yeah.
They meaning the city?
Well, yes, the city.
Okay.
And also,
any other questions for the petitioner? Yes.
So what type of, oh, sorry. What type of buy-in have you received from the community? Have you attended meetings and have you received letters
from
the community, like the neighboring community, any of the block clubs or associations?
Oh no, I just really more so just because it's really like a lot of how can I say people that just wander around. So I really just more so help them out. And with the community wise, I really been up there just really working up there. And like the people that come past that need help, I ask them if, can you help me with a lot of little bit trash in the back because it'd be a lot of debris that bees around. So I that's really more so what I help out with them. But far as the plaza wise, I do communicate with everyone in the plaza and shop with all of them and let them know that what I was doing. And then I also let them know that everything that's going on. I was hoping that they would be on here today because I was letting them know about the meeting today.
Right.
So I was hoping that they would be on
So
here.
none of the neighbors have sent letters or complained or said anything?
No. I just try because I try to make sure I got everything in order before.
Have you sent anything to the neighbors or any?
The housing. No, nope. I don't have any flyers or anything like that because I've been really more so. I've been worried about because the last letter it really gave me I just really was feeling like giving up. So everything they was asking me to do, I was doing all that. And when the letter came, it just really I just really was giving up hope. And then the appeal came where I can do the appeal. So I went with the appeal. And that's why I'm really here today.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
so if I remember right, you live in the area, right?
Yes.
And then did you say that you have babies in the area or nieces?
No, I have 5 daughters myself. I also have a property on Tacoma where my auntie stays with my nieces and nephews, and that's like 4 blocks over.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for the petition? Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. If you want to go ahead and step back, we're gonna hear from the city departments now. Right. BC.
Morning, board members. My name is Brian Coe. I'm with the City of Detroit Law Department here to speak on behalf of BC in their decision.
I can interrupt you for 1 second. Attorney Savage, would you be able to, so we have 4 new board members that have never heard a denial before. Would you be able to just kind of quickly talk about the denial and how that works?
Quickly, I believe all of us have discussed community appeals, which are also an appeal of the community based on an administrative denial. This particular type of a case is the same theme. However, it's the actual applicant and the property owner that is appealing the decision of the department. in these particular cases, just like community appeals, we have the law department come and step in for BSED to present the case on behalf of the department. How it's a little bit different is versus like variances and nonconformings and other things that you hear. For these cases, you're in an appellate mode, a real appellate body, meaning you're evaluating the information that was provided to the department at the time it made its decision, and that it made the best decision based on the information that it had at that time. We're not supposed to take into consideration new evidence. So you're looking at everything that was presented at that time and determining whether or not they made a sound decision. So Attorney Cole here, he is about to present on behalf of the BSED and give further explanation as to why they made their decision and the legal standards for which they made it. Does anybody have any questions regarding that?
So we have a different approval criteria that we're gonna look at, which is on your screen right now. Okay, thank you, Attorney Cole. Go ahead.
Thank you, board members. Given that we have some new board members, I guess I'll start with a few basics. The approval criteria for a conditional land use are found in section 50-3-281 of the code. And there's 15 factors in there. And the way the code is currently written is that, the Building Safety, Engineering, and Environmental Department must find that all 15 factors are satisfied in order to approve a conditional use. And this goes to some of the foundations of zoning laws, that conditional uses are assumed to be or to have some negative effects or negative consequences. And if they're not appropriately dealt with or considered and found to be suitable for the area, they can have a negative effect on nearby property owners. So again, BSED is required to meet or to analyze and find that all 15 factors are present before they grant a conditional land use. And in this case, BSED found that 2 of those factors were not present. And to be specific, those factors were that the use will not be detrimental to or endanger the social, physical, environmental, or economic well-being of the surrounding neighborhoods or aggravate any pre-existing physical, social, or economic deterioration of the surrounding neighborhoods. That's the first factor. As you probably understand, it's very general, and it's a sense of whether the use is really suitable for the location that's proposed to be in. The second factor that BSED found was not present is that the use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes permitted. And I can tell by the questions asked that the board does understand this case and the issues that are present. And that is that BSED was highly concerned about vulnerable populations nearby this proposed use, being the Women's and Family Shelter run by Detroit Rescue Mission and the mental health hospital that's just down the street. And then the second issue that they were concerned about in finding that these factors were not met is a general sense of overconcentration of tobacco and tobacco products in the area. Unlike liquor stores or automotive uses, tobacco shops are not tightly controlled in the city with a spacing requirement. You know, liquor stores, I think you can't have more than 2 within 1,000 feet, or maybe it's 2,000 feet. And automotive uses, you can't have more than 1 within 1,000 feet of each other. Tobacco stores don't have the same restriction, but they're still subject to a conditional land use hearing or conditional land use approval because there are concerns. You know, it's a product that can be detrimental to people's health. It's one that is generally understood to be addictive, and you know, for those reasons, it's controlled and subject to BSED's review and appeal to this body. So the question before this body is really whether BSED was reasonable in finding that these factors weren't satisfied. You may agree or disagree with their actual conclusion, but the question before you as an appellate body is whether they were reasonable in applying the factors. If you find they're unreasonable, you should reverse this case. But if you think that there was a reasonable justification for the decision that they made, this body should uphold their decision. And I'll very transparently, you know, this is a bit of an unusual case because no one spoke in favor or opposition at the hearing. It was really just the appellant, Mr. Holly, who we heard from, and BC'd exercising their judgment. Because we heard questions from Member Johnson about reaching out to the community. It's been a quiet case as far as zoning cases go. And you know, I don't want to be too tough on Mr. Holly. I think he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. You know, he's trying to start a business in a strip of the city that needs more small businesses, needs more people investing in it. And it's his neighborhood, it's his area. But at the end of the day, BC felt that the close by vulnerable populations made this specific location unsuitable for a tobacco shop. Does not mean that a tobacco shop is a bad idea. We do not want it to be discouraging to Mr. Holly, but it does mean that, you know, they think that the conflict posed by the tobacco shop, which is a conditional use, would be too great for this to be an appropriate location for it. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Coe? Member Watson.
Did I understand you to say that there is no restriction on overconcentration for tobacco shops? There is no restriction. We consider two different locations that sell tobacco products, right, in the close proximity, but there is no restriction on the number of tobacco shops that can be allowed in a specific location.
That is
like liquor and
correct. There's no minimum spacing requirement in our code for businesses selling tobacco.
And lastly, when Mr. Holly presented before BZ, did he make the point of what his products were going to be as opposed to the, as we have heard, was there a case made that he was simply doing the, what do you call it? The utensils as opposed to the product itself?
You know, I reviewed and watched the hearing, but that doesn't stand out to me. I don't think he represented it in any way other than what he represented to you. But I can't say that he didn't mention tobaccos or vapes. I did think that that was part of the use.
Thank you.
But I would not say that what he's presented today is wrong or different from what he said to the board without being able to review the case again.
Member Bowen.
Yeah, hi. I'm trying to get one factor clarified in regard to the one of the criteria that you bring up that they apparently in the opinion of BC failed to meet regarding that the principle that the business not be detrimental to environment, surrounding area, people in that area, I believe it was being stated. And you did at one point mention the deleterious effects of nicotine products, and at the same time stated that you weren't necessarily saying having a tobacco-oriented business was a bad idea. And so hypothetically, any place selling tobacco, be it the gas station down the street or that party store mentioned or any other business, hypothetically could be said to have not met that criteria based upon the fact that the product itself is, you know, universally pretty much considered to be harmful. is your interpretation of the law, speaking as an attorney, that it's intended to apply to the deleterious health effects or other effects to people not purchasing products at that business?
The zoning code is focused on the impact of the use on surrounding property. So while there is an understanding that it's probably not healthy to smoke in any form, that is not necessarily what the zoning code polices. The zoning code polices whether a use would be appropriate given the other land uses in the area. And so conditional uses, again, are understood to have potential negative effects, and they must be located mindfully to minimize or eliminate any of those negative effects from surrounding property uses. So we are not here to police whether people smoke or not, but whether the potential negative consequences of a use of property would be detrimental to the surrounding area.
If Mr. Chair, may I have follow-up?
Yes.
So just given what you're saying, taking that into consideration, what, so minus the obvious effects of tobacco that we've all heard about through most of our lives, other than that, what deleterious effects does it have on the neighboring area and environment and so forth?
There's two concerns that BC noted in its letter, and those being that the surrounding vulnerable populations that use the women's and family shelter and who use the mental health hospital would be more likely to be negatively impacted by this use in the area. And explaining that, I guess, in a different way is they're concerned that people who are having mental health issues or who are in very difficult times in their lives, going through homelessness, would be more likely to get addicted to tobacco substances or use this and have that further negatively impact their lives. And then the second concern is over concentration generally of tobacco sales in the city. Again, we all live in America where you're free to smoke if you want to smoke, but we recognize also the negative health impacts and health consequences that come from smoking. So there is, a public health concern and desire to not have an over concentration of these spaces, which make it more likely that people will be exposed to tobacco and smoke and whatever other products you use these essentials with. And that is also what is policed by the zoning code, the over concentration, not an individual's right to exercise their purchasing and health and consumption choices, but whether we as a city are, I'll say, making it too available or over concentrating its use in our neighborhoods.
Any other questions for the BC in the city? Ms. Johnson? No. Okay. I've got just a couple follow-up questions. My first question actually is for Mr. Holly. How long have you been working on this project?
I leased the building in April and started May.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay, so May, June, July, August. About 4 months.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Attorney Cole, how does the city allow somebody to work on a project for 4 months and invest $26,000? And assumingly, obviously in great contact with the city and doing everything the city asks, and then he gets to a point where he's, as they say at BC, he's getting ready to cross the finish line, and then he gets flagged for something that is going to crash his entire project.
And well, I think the city's been engaged along the way. You know, Mr. Holly did go through the right process. You know, he identified a location. He applied for the or the special land use approval, which requires site plan review in advance. And you know, got approval for the site plan review because you know he's essentially slotting into an open retail location. Site plan is not really a concern. But it's a prerequisite for any sort of zoning approval. And the hearing for this was on May 20th. It was very early in his engagement and his opening of the business. So it's not that anything's been slow or anything's been done out of order. Mr. Holly again has followed the process as he should have. He didn't, to our knowledge, open up and operate early. Or operated legally, as you hear in other cases that come before you. But the hearing happened on the 20th. I don't know how many days you have to appeal, but it's probably 30 or 45. And then it's a matter of setting the hearing before this body. So we are, you know, a couple months down the line, but everything's followed the normal course.
And just for a point of clarification, there is nothing in city codes or ordinances that directly speak to the over concentration for a smoke shop or for a tobacco shop. So this is just a made up opinion of BC.
I would not categorize it that way, Member Roberts. I would say that there are.
I'll retract the last comment and just go back to the original question. Is there anything in the ordinance that speaks directly to the over-concentration of tobacco shops?
There are no minimum spacing requirements in the ordinance, but it is classified as a conditional use in all zoning areas. So throughout the code or throughout the city, you do have to get a conditional land use approval for a tobacco store.
Thank you. Any other questions for the attorney? Member Watson?
The determination by building safety on these two items is the opinion of the inspector who did the inspection. Is that a fair assessment? One inspector went out, said, and looked at the overall case and said, well, we got this and we got this. That's an issue.
No, there's not an individual inspector that makes these decisions. There's a hearing officer that runs the hearing. And then there is a body of zoning and land use experts in BC, including Director Bell, whose signature is on these letters. So it is a decision by the department and not the decision of an individual inspector or hearing officer.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Any other questions for the attorney? All right. Thank you, Attorney Coe.
Thank you, members.
We'll have Mr. Holly back up, please. We're going to switch now over to our approval criteria. And this approval criteria is different than or we don't really need him up here.
Yes. Did we already go through that?
No. Usually go through that with him. With the applicant. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to go to the administrative appeals. So if you could pull that up in your packet, it's the one that's got the blue line that goes across it, and it's up on the screen. And so, Member Bowman, if you could do 1 and 2, please.
Okay, yes, so first of all, please explain the current use of the subject property, your intended use of the subject property, your relationship to the subject property's owner, and why you requested conditional land use approval from BC.
When I first got the building, when I first rented it, I had told the owner what I wanted to do, and he told me that I would have to go to the city and make sure that I get everything correct with the city. So that was the first step I took.
Okay, is that your answer to all of those?
Oh, no.
Okay.
So just state on the record what your intended use of the property is. What do
Oh,
you?
it's tobacco and retail store. Tobacco and vape retail store.
Okay, and you're renting the space?
Yes.
Okay, and what made you have to apply for a conditional land use?
Oh, I had told it, well, at first they didn't want it. They didn't want to do the smoke shops because a lot of people, I guess, wouldn't go through that process. So I told them I'll go through the full process because I've been passionate about it. So he told me I had to go down to the city. So that's what I had went down, and then they told me that I needed to apply for the special land use first, and it would come with conditions. So I had went through the steps of what they were asking me to do.
Okay.
Number 2, Mr. Bowman.
Yeah, I'm just making sure you're still number 1. Okay, number 2, before BC can approve any conditional land use request, it must make each of the 15 findings outlined in section 50-3-281. In your opinion, why does your proposed conditional land use satisfy each of those findings? What evidence did you present to BC prior to its denial decision that demonstrated you satisfied each of those required findings?
Yes, I went through. They wanted me to. They wanted me to make sure that I had everything for security. It was. I had a whole checklist for everything that they wanted me to do, and I went through everything step by step. Floor plans. They wanted me to make sure I got go through to get my clearances. There were a lot of different things. I can't really remember, but there were um, a lot of things that they wanted me to do to even do this, get the special land use. And I got a letter I thought was approved, and then it came back with a denial.
Okay, and in that, when you were presenting this to them, did you what did you, for instance, have in there to address the matter of whether or not there would be a negative effect on the surrounding community, that type of thing? What did you present to them then?
Oh, well, what a negative effect would be on the community?
Or to show that there would not be? What did you present to them at the
Oh,
time?
I was trying to actually bring business, like bring a business to the community and try to employ, really. And when they asked me about the community, it was more so me connecting with the community. But I wasn't able to really do much. I would speak to a lot of individuals around and inside of the complex, gas station and other people, but it was never me getting flyers and taking them to the community because I never started the business yet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 3, Member Watson, and if you have a particular item like number 4, the next one, where there's multiple bullet points, if we could ask each of those bullet points separately.
Okay, and I just want a point of clarification on the last question on number 2. The denial, or he didn't have to bring any information because this case only arose after the denial. So he did everything requested by BC up until the point of denial. Then this question arose, and that's why we're here. But I will start with number 3.
Does that sound correct to you? I don't want the board member testifying for you, but does his scenario sound correct to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We good?
Yes, go ahead with 3 and 4, sorry.
Number 3. It is your contention that BC erred in issuing this denial. What specifically did BC do that was an error? What specific error did BC commit?
They were, it was more so of comparing me to the liquor store and the gas station because I was just more so focused on the accessories and everything, and they have like more of, you know, like I said, gas, liquor, cigarettes, all the different things, but I wasn't going for that. I wasn't going for selling no liquor or no gas or anything like that. I was more so going for just essential products and bringing something into that, like into the plaza, a small business.
Okay. Number 4, and take your time with this one. You are appealing before the board seeking to overturn building safety's denial. What relief are you seeking? Number 1, are you requesting the board to reverse BC's decision? Are you requesting the board to modify BC's decision? Are you requesting the board to, I can't see.
Number 4, remand.
Remand BC's decision for a new public hearing? Specifically, what are you requesting of this board?
To reverse their decision.
To reverse the decision. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. All right, member Parker. 5 and 6. Oh, there's only 4.
Yes.
All right, disregard. Okay, any other questions for the petitioner? Do we feel that we've got enough information? Go ahead. Member Johnson.
So, Mr. Holly, I'm just wondering, did BC or yourself, did BC give you any other ideas of businesses that you could actually do in place of what you were doing? Or did you come up with anything that if you didn't get through, if you didn't win, well, I didn't say win, but if you don't get approved today, what's your backup plan?
Just keep working. I didn't really have a backup. I was just so passionate about this, and I didn't have nothing else. I didn't really think about.
No, I was just thinking like a cigar
I
shop,
mean,
like a
so
cigar
I mean,
bar or something like that.
throughout my life, I've been a mechanic. I've
Right.
been a carpenter. I've did a lot of things with my hands, and now I'm working in the factory, and it's just like that can't be it. So I try to start a small business, and
Right.
I went for that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Last bite at the end. Okay, all right. If you want to go ahead and step back, we're going to go into public comment now.
Thank you.
If you could, Mr. Holly, if you could please pay attention to what's brought up during public comment. If there's anything negative towards your project, you'll have an opportunity to come back up and address the board specific to those issues. All right, we're going to open public comment in the auditorium. If there's anybody in the auditorium that would like to make public comment specific, oh, that's the wrong address. I don't know where my agenda went. What's the address? Oh, I gave it to you. Thanks. All right. Sorry about that. If you'd like to make public comment specific to 15072 Gratiot, please step up to the podium. Public comment in the auditorium for 15072 Gratiot. Seeing nobody, we'll switch over to our virtual participants. If you're out there on Zoom and you want to make a public comment specific to 15072 Gratiot, please raise your hand. Public comment for 15072 Gratiot, please raise your hand. Anybody, Director O'Brien?
First person is Steve Hines.
Steve Hines, if you could please unmute yourself. We need your name, address. Inspector Purifer will swear you in and you'll have 2 minutes. Mr.
Yes.
Hines.
Hello, my name is Steve Ennis, address 240 Erskine, Detroit.
Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to speak in support of this project. I feel a small business in that area would improve the neighborhood. Regarding the issue of negatively impacting the neighborhood, I feel that the liquor store is much worse for the neighborhood. The alcohol consumption does have negative impacts on other people besides the person consuming, whereas if tobacco is done in an outdoor environment, it's really restricted to just the person that is consuming that product. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody
The
else?
next
Director?
person is Tyson Gersh.
Tyson Gersh. You could please unmute yourself. We need your name, address. Inspector will swear you in. You'll have 2 minutes. Tyson Gersh. Okay, not hearing from Mr. Gersh, we'll move on. Anybody else, Director O'Brien?
That's it.
Okay, we are going to close out public comment, and we did not hear anything in opposition. With no opposition, do they both get a rebuttal still? Okay. Mr. Holly, would you like to speak any further to the board? You need to step up to the microphone if you do. So this is a rebuttal, so it's specific to the comment that was just made.
Oh, I want to thank him for the positive comment.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Code, do you have any comment on the public comment?
I would just like to correct something in the record that I stated before. I stated that the tobacco retail store was conditional throughout the city. While on the side here, I double checked the code. The tobacco retail stores are conditional within B3 and B4, which are your moderate intensity business districts. They are by right in B5 and B6 business zoning districts. Just want to make that clear. So the question is not whether a tobacco store can exist in the city. It's just whether BC erred in determining that this was not an appropriate location for the proposed use. Thank you, board members.
Thank you. Okay. So we're going to close out, or we already closed out public comment. We're going to go into a board-only discussion now, and a motion is always in order. Member Watson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm of the opinion that BC, in this particular case, on the two criteria they found the denial upon, I believe in the two instances that they did in fact err, because I don't see the harm to the community by the establishment of a tobacco shop. The two locations or two issues raised by BC, the Detroit Rescue Mission, in and of itself does not generate a lot of traffic that would frequent a shop, the proposed shop. The second location, the mental hospital, it is a mental hospital for patients. It does not, the mental patients will come out and purchase the product. It does not generate a significant amount of foot traffic. Having lived in this area for some 50, 60 years, I can attest to the fact that the traffic in that area from these two organizations, well, of course, they had not been there at the time, Detroit Rescue Mission. I've worked with Detroit Rescue Missions, and I know the tight regimen they have for their clientele. And based upon what I've just said, I would be in favor of reversing and granting petitioner his request. Thank you.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Member Watson. You know, it's an interesting situation where, you know, that there is not an ordinance that governs this particular use in terms of concentration. And it's interesting. So one of the things that the city states is that it's an increased danger. And it's interesting to me because if you have an over concentration in the area, then that means that whatever the city determines to be dangerous is already readily available. So, you know, putting a place that's only, you know, a few feet closer to the people that the city's alleging that they're trying to protect doesn't seem to me to be a reason to, you know, to deny this use. And like I say, on the conditional or on the over concentration, it's not even part of the ordinance. So I think that that's a stretch as well. So I would also be in favor of reversing this denial. Additionally, when you look at the applicant, he's already been at work with this for over 4 months. He's invested $26,000. You know, he's a young African-American entrepreneur, local to the neighborhood. You know, if this was a different situation, he'd be getting a Motor City Makeover grant during a presentation as opposed to being denied the opportunity to live the American dream by the city. So I'd be in favor of overturning BC's decision also. Member Bowman.
Yeah, I agree with both of the colleagues who've spoken so far. And just looking at things narrowly and based purely on the criteria we're asked to consider. Today we heard that when the attorney for BC spoke, he said that our petitioner had in fact, or our appellee had in fact not changed his representation of what he intended to do between today and the hearing, and that was important because we only consider what was what BC had before them at the time, and we've heard it again. And he offers a variation that's a little different than what the neighboring other two places offered. The mentioned a gas station and a convenience store, liquor store. The other thing is, in the absence of a legal spacing limitation, the existence of the other two businesses turns, instead of being an argument against them being, they're actually an argument in favor, because then we're dealing with an unequal treatment where they're permitted to operate and he isn't. And there's nothing really here to indicate that what he would be doing would be any worse. And in fact, maybe, you know, in the absence of liquor sales, it may actually be better if someone going to get their tobacco products, who let's say does have a substance abuse issue. I mean, I've since there's one intrinsic, but is going to a place that's solely involved in nicotine paraphernalia versus some place that sells liquor. It seems like there'd be less of a temptation for those bad habits or whatever. So in the absence of the spacing requirement, that though that seems to have become one of the two bases upon which BC denied, that one is nullified. And then we have the seeking of an additional harm in some way to the surrounding businesses, community. environment, and they're really, I heard none presented, nothing that would have been different than anyone else selling similar products. And in fact, perhaps even less, in the sense that often we hear about parking issues, or we hear about concerns about noise and various factors of that type. I heard no discussion of that at all. And so based upon that, I don't think BC acted reasonably in denying this application.
Okay. Member Campbell?
Okay, so just for clarity, I just want to make sure that that I'm understanding that we have to base this off of the 4 points, the 4 criteria.
Well,
Like,
there's actually 15 criteria, but we asked 4 questions, but there's 15 criteria.
right, but
And numbers 2 and 4 of those 15 are the ones that the city objected to.
I see. Okay, so our goal today is to decide whether he meets those criterias or that BC was erred in their decision,
BC erred.
basically based on the information that was presented at the time of the, I see. Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments from the board? If not, a motion's in order. If you choose to make a motion, you have to address all 15 of those criteria. Number 2 and 4 need detail. The rest of them, you can basically say that they were met. So, because the city's only objecting to 2 and 4, but they all 15 need to be referenced, and they are connected to the criteria that the 4 questions. If you go beyond the 4 questions, it'll go into those 15 criteria. So can we get a motion, please? Member Watson?
Mr. Chair, in the case of BZA 2026-00046, location 15072 Gratiot, I move that the decision to deny be reversed based upon the fact that the criteria requirement of 50-3-281, general approval criteria, number 1 being the establishment, maintenance, location, operation of a proposed conditional use will not be detrimental to the intended social, physical, environmental, or economic well-being of surrounding of the neighborhood, or exaggerate any pre-existing physical, social, or economic deterioration of surrounding neighborhood. That being one of the criteria which BC founded upon it, that is not a valid finding, that they erred, number 1. Number 2, the conditional use will not be injurious to the use, enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose permitted. That was not one of their criteria, and it wasn't an issue. Number 3, the conditional use would not substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. Number 4, the conditional use shall not be inconsistent with the goals and objectives of Detroit Master Plan. That wasn't an issue. 5, the establishment of the conditional use would not impede the normal or orderly development of improvement of the surrounding property for use permitted in the district. That was not an issue. Number 6, adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities shall have been or will be provided. That was not an issue. The conditional use will be compatible with the capabilities of public service and public facilities that are affected by the proposed use. Number 8, the conditional use will be compatible with all land use or adjacent and nearby zoning lots in terms of location, size, and character. That was not an issue. The conditional use will not hinder or have detrimental effect upon vehicular turning patterns. That was not an issue. The conditional use will in all other respects conform to the applicable use, regulation, dimensional requirement, general development standards. That was not an issue. The conditional use is consistent with any approved preliminary site plan, not an issue. The conditional use is so designed, located, and planned and operated so that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected, not an issue. The conditional use shall not involve activities, processes, material, equipment, or conditions of operations that will be detrimental to the physical environment of the public health, general welfare of the. If in fact this was an issue raised as the second issue by the city, they erred in this making that denial. Number 14, the general use is consistent with and promote the intent and purpose of this chapter, not an issue. And it was not a public, civic, or institutional use consideration. Based upon the foregoing statement, I would be in favor of reversing BC's decision in favor of the.
Okay, so we have a motion. Can we get a second?
A second.
Okay. So moved and properly second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Do a roll call.
Roll call.
Board Member Watson,
Aye.
Board Member Campbell,
Nay.
Board Member Carr,
Nay.
Board Member Johnson,
Aye.
Board
Yes.
Member Bowman,
Aye.
Board Member Parker,
Aye.
Board Member Roberts, Chairperson Roberts.
Aye.
Yeah, 5 yes, 2 no's, motion carries. BZA case 2026-00046, William Holly appealing the decisions of Building Safety and Engineering Environmental Department, which denied the establishment of a tobacco retail store. That denial has been overturned and granted. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Holly. Congratulations. Be a good neighbor.
Members of the board. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anything else from me?
No, sir. Go out and live your dream and just be a good neighbor.
Yeah, she'll be in
Thank you.
contact with you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. BZA case 2026. Zero, 00034, City Council District Number 6. BZA petitioner is Chico's Auto Sales LLC. The location is 2910 Central between Majestic and Warren, and an R3 zone, low density residential district. Chico's Auto Sales LLC appeals the decision of the Buildings and Safety Environmental Engineering and Environmental Department, BC SLU 2025-0003, decision date May 7th, 2026, effective date May 21st, 2026, which denied the establishment of a light-duty vehicle service establishment in an existing 4,670 square foot building in an M4 zone, intensive industrial district. We will now hear from Inspector Purefoy.
Thank you, Director. We're hearing this case today because the board shall be authorized to hear and decide appeals from and review any order, requirement, decision, or determination that is made by an administrative official in the administration of the zoning ordinance, or any decision made by the Building and Safety Engineering Department involving conditional uses, regulated uses, or controlled uses, or any denial of a site plan by the Planning and Development Department. Hearing this case under Section 54-101, jurisdiction over appeals of administrative decisions, and 53-281, the general approval criteria. Hearing this case under the legal description attached, our attorney will assess ownership. The BC's denial letter effective May 7, 2026 states the current legal land use of the above property is used motor vehicle sales under permit 51882 and 69847 issued in June of 1951 and June of 1965. The requested use is light-duty vehicle service establishment is permissible on a conditional basis in an M4 intensive industrial zoning district. BC held a public hearing reconsidering the requested use on April 15th, 2026. In addition to City of Detroit personnel appearing on behalf of BC and Planning and Development Department, participants were the consultant Myra Black. No one spoke in support and two people spoke in opposition. Preliminary site plans submitted February 13th, 2026 were approved by BC on March 20th, 2026. A letter from Planning and Development dated April 22nd, 2026 was a recommendation for denial of the requested use. Based on the site plans and other information presented, BC's compliance with the following aspects of the requested use were addressed. Off-street parking under section 501460, vehicle repair and service. For the 4,670 square foot building, 16 off-street parking spaces are required. For the proposed light-duty service facility, BC was able to subtract the parking requirement from the current used auto sales land use, which is 6 spaces, thereby reducing the parking requirement to 10 off-street parking spaces. 12 off-street spaces were provided, leaving no parking deficiency. Loading under section 5014-115, manufacturing and industrial uses, 112 by 55 foot off-street loading space is required. None was provided on site plans, so that is insufficient. Additionally, the requested use lacks an off-street loading area that can sufficiently accommodate delivery trucks without blocking the public sidewalk, thus can adversely impact both pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Spacing under section 5012-127, retail service and commercial uses spacing. Uses of the same type shall be prevented from overconcentration in a limited area to more equitably disperse them throughout the city. Light-duty vehicle service establishments shall be restricted to a minimum of 1,000 radial feet from any other existing or approved vehicle service or repair establishment. Upon review, BC found the following permitted facilities were within 1,000 feet of the subject property. One is at 2930 Central. It has a collision shop, light-duty vehicle repair, 0 feet away. I believe it's right next door. 2951 Central, light-duty vehicle service facility, 60 feet away. 7621 Dix, light-duty vehicle service facility, 830 feet away. Due to the findings of the special land use application, the proposed use shall require a spacing variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals if this grant had been approved. Upon careful consideration, BC was unable to make the required findings under section 53281. BC is unable to make the required findings that the establishment, maintenance, location, and operation of the requested use will not be detrimental to or endanger the social, physical, environmental, or economic well-being of surrounding neighborhoods or aggravate any pre-existing physical, social, or economic deterioration of surrounding neighborhoods. Their finding for this finding was that the applicant performed work within the right-of-way in 2019 without a permit from the Department of Public Works. The work performed was not to DPW standards. The applicant was operating illegally as a minor auto repair facility since 2019. The applicant claimed they did not know they were operating illegally. The applicant stated that they had the support of the Department of Neighborhood Managers, which proved to be untrue. Second finding is that BC is unable to make the required findings that the requested use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the immediate vicinity for the purposes permitted. The area already has 3 other vehicle facilities less than 3 blocks from the proposed use. Thus, any additional vehicle service facilities can pose a hardship to residents within this community. The third finding, BC is unable to make the required findings that the requested use will in all respects conform to the applicable use regulations, dimensional requirements, general development standards, and any other applicable requirement of the Detroit zoning ordinance, subject to any necessary variances or waivers as may be approved by the BZA. As previously noted, the requested use is within 1,000 radial feet of 3 other vehicle repair facilities, thus shall require a waiver from the BZA. As the requested use is not in accordance with all applicable use regulations and other zoning requirements, it could create disruption for adjacent businesses and residents within the neighborhood. Fourth finding is BC is unable to make the required findings that the requested use will not involve activities, processes, materials, equipment, or conditions of operation that will be detrimental to the physical environment or to public health and general welfare by reason of excessive production of noise, smoke, glare, fumes, or odors. The requested use could create a highly intensive auto-related environment along Central Avenue, which would attract a number of repair vehicles to the neighborhood. Also, the owner has been operating as a minor auto repair facility illegally. For these reasons, the requested use could inadvertently create excessive noise, traffic congestion, and disruption to the Joni residential neighborhood. And for those findings, the BC denied the requested use. And again, the petitioner is before the board to reverse the BC's denial of a light-duty vehicle service establishment in a 4,600 square foot building in an M4 district. Subject property again located on Central. This is a front view of the subject property in question. Looking down Central, looking to the north, one of the uses that brings the case for concentration is directly next door. I believe it's sandwiched in between two, actually. This front view of the subject property. This is to the south of the subject property, another auto-related use. View looking down the frontage of the subject property. Looking down Central, looking to the south. Inside the gated area, the frontage of the subject property. Block opposite. It's an M4 district, so it's all industrial. This is also block opposite and looking down Central to the south. Again, this is auto-related use immediately to the north of the subject property. And the blue building is on the opposite side of the subject property and a view looking down Central to the south. And another front view of the subject property. And that should complete the visuals, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Inspector Pierce. Yeah, if we could have the petitioner to the podium, please.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
My name is Meyer Black.
Are you the only two that are going to be speaking today?
Yes, sir, and he's in opposition.
You can
Okay.
put a mic down so they can hear you a little
We
bit.
just, we need each of your names and addresses. The inspector will swear you in.
Yes, sir. Myra Black, address 381 381 Clinton Street, Wyandotte, consultant.
Okay, my name is Sergio Garcia. My address is 3555 Alice Street, Dearborn, Michigan.
Would you both raise your right hands for me? Do you confirm your testimony is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The first thing that we need to do is establish that you have the ability to speak about this property and project today. And Attorney Savage is going to take care of that.
Okay.
Good afternoon or good morning, Erica Savage on behalf of the Law Department. These questions are designed to assess your standing. Pursuant to section 50-3-3 of the City of Detroit zoning ordinance, any party who petitions the Board of Zoning Appeals must possess sufficient standing, which means you either have a legal interest in the property or you're authorized by the property owner to appear today on their behalf. Based on the Law Department search of the property at I'm sorry, you guys, forgive me. 2910 Central. We obtained a warranty deed recorded on September 19th, 2016 at Library 54641, page 1344. And that deed reflects the owner of the property as Sergio Salcido Garcia. And we also obtained a mineral rights deed recorded on May 15th, 2025. That mineral rights deed was just for subsurface rights, so I wasn't as concerned with that.
Yes.
There was no surface rights. So regarding Sergio Salcido Garcia, please state your relationship to that. Is that you?
Oh, that's me. Myra Black, I'm his consultant.
Okay, and check.
Oh. We apologize. Myra Black, I'm his consultant. Or there's a bit of a language barrier, and I
Oh,
work
okay.
within the Southwest community.
Oh, okay. Oh, Mr. Garcia, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you the owner of Checo's? Is it?
Yeah, I'm the owner. Yes, I'm the owner.
Okay, are you the sole owner?
Yes.
Okay. Um, other than the consultant that you have here today, will anybody else be authorized to speak on your behalf of the property?
No, only me and her.
Okay.
We
All right.
can't
Well,
hear.
huh?
Um,
Oh, okay.
I
Based
can't hear.
on the statements placed on the record, I'm satisfied with standing to proceed. If by any chance, so you think that you'll be able to follow, you need any translation?
Yeah.
Will you need any translation?
Yes, I need it.
Jerry.
Okay, well,
Yes,
we're
yes.
supposed to have an actual.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the actual translator for,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you were the consultant.
No, I help translate. I consult with them. I work within the Southwest community.
Okay, all right. Um, all right, I'm comfortable with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you restate your name,
Myra Black,
Meyer?
Mayra. Black is in the color.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. All right, so what brings it before the Board of Zoning Appeals today? So if you could explain a little bit about your project and why you're here, why you got denied.
Unfortunately, he called me when the inspector shut him down, and he did not know when he bought this property, it had already the vehicles for the light vehicle repair. And even though it was a dealership, the person that sold it to him unfortunately lied and said it was a dealership with the light duty. He did not know that. He's a certified mechanic, therefore he started operating as a mechanic. And then therefore the inspector went, shut him down. Ever since it's been a year, it has been shut down. He has not operated at all. We spoke with Dafir Hassan, which is the inspector that shut him down. We've already made a list of everything that he's wanted to fix, which we have. We're very with everything in the inspection. And the last time we came, the opposition, the best part was he didn't speak about his financials. He just spoke about things that, first of all, was apologized to, and second of all, things that were corrected.
You
Meaning,
said the last time you came, so have you been before the board before?
what was it? Yes, when we had a Zoom meeting,
Okay,
I believe, yes, with BC. Yes,
okay.
yes, I'm sorry, with BC.
Thank you.
And the opposition spoke of just things that could have been fixed that my client wasn't aware of, and he is willing to fix, meaning like people would drop off vehicles, at 10 o'clock at night, things that could easily be fixed. And I did apologize to the opponent, and he's willing to like keep shop 8 to 5. Don't bring anybody past 5, because that was what the opposition was saying a lot. And we were not prepared, unfortunately, for BC. It was my first time around, but this time we are. We do have a petition that we had 17 people sign, and most of these people are within the auto parts industry in the Southwest area, because not only does he doesn't shop his auto parts by Amazon, he goes directly within the community. And one thing about the community, it is Southwest. It is a Latin community. It's known as Mexican Town. And we Hispanics, we only go with what we know. And he's very well known in the Latin community because of the language, and they trust him, and he goes there. We also have, this letter is my favorite one. We also have support from LACED, which is the Latin America for Social and Economic Development in Southwest. And the director spoke highly of him because if I can read one little part, it says, Mr. Garcia has especially supportive of many of the older adults we serve. Our senior wellness center is located just a short distance from Checo's Auto Parts, and he has consistently assisted seniors with vehicles repairs and maintenance, often charging only the cost of the parts to help those living on limited incomes. So he gives back to the community with he buys the auto parts within the community. He supports the senior community and especially the Latin community. And that's what we would be fighting for mostly. Wherever he goes, I guess we're gonna follow, but it's very important. Southwest, that's all we know. He's actually the #1 mechanic. Everybody knows him in Southwest because he's very good. He's very an honest mechanic, which is hard to find sometimes. And he's very honest with his pricing. I have a female here that signed. She was pregnant and she didn't have enough for, just the parts and not the labor, and he let it go. So he's very willing to give back, and he does give back to the community.
Is the applicant familiar with Eva Torres or Antonio Moro Mills?
Eva Torres, I actually texted her this morning, and she is supportive of this, but there's no relationship. No,
Okay.
no relation.
So one of the things that's concerning to me in the report that we got from the law department is the fact that it was stated that you had support from the Department of Neighborhoods. And Eva is the manager for District 6. And it says in the report that that was a lie, that you do not have support from them.
Yes, that was a miscommunication on our part because I did speak with Eva, and I believe she got the not the addresses, but the people, because she was also in a position in opposition of someone else. So, and I did text her this morning saying today, if she doesn't have time to come in the Zoom meeting, but she is in support to it.
Okay.
And
All right. Any other questions from board?
I don't know if you'd like to see the signatures. No.
Actually, I had a couple. The first one is you brought up these letters of support from community members. And I'm wondering if either those letters or at least the people writing them were at all involved in the BC hearing at which the case had previously been discussed, where the denial
No, sir. Like I said, unfortunately, I was asked to go to the BC, one day from another, and I was not prepared. He was not prepared. So this time around, when we paid for the appeal, I said, let's get prepared. Let's get signatures. Let's get, more support from the community. So no, sir, we did not have anything.
And the other thing, just kind of a curiosity on my part, and I think I heard some allusion to it when the purchase of the property was discussed, and that is, it's called Chico's Auto Sales LLC. But it sounds like this is not auto sales, but auto repair. I'm just wondering about the discrepancy in the name.
Pusiste Checo's Auto Sales en lugar de Checo's Auto Parts or Auto Repair.
Ahora sí, porque el certificado de compliance es Checos Auto Sales.
He put Checo's Auto Sales because his certificate of compliance stated that, and that's why he put the LLC in that.
Sorry?
El certificado de compliance sale,
Pero ¿quién hizo tu LLC?
LLC, mi contador.
His accountant did the LLC under Checo's Auto Sales, and he thought because his certificate of compliance is under Checo's Auto Sales, and that's why he did it that name instead of an auto parts or auto repair.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions for the applicant from the board? Okay, seeing none, you can go ahead and step back, sir. Next, we're going to hear from our departments. Planning and development, I think, was
This is still BC and the attorney.
okay. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you.
Well, that's because I'm relatively new to this city. So good morning. My name is Scott Greenwood. And yeah, I am new to the law department as of January. So it's nice to meet and see some of you.
Great.
Welcome
before the board.
I'm sorry.
I said welcome before the board.
Thank you very much. Happy to go over the standards again, but I am here on behalf of BSeed and BZA 2026-00034, and that's relating to the proposed light duty vehicle service establishment at 2910 Central Street. As you heard in the previous matter, what you're essentially being asked to do is determine whether or not BSeed was reasonable in its original denial of the special land use approval that was submitted. It's not necessarily whether you would make the same finding yourself, it's whether or not there was sufficient information to essentially bolster and stand up the decision that BSeed made. So it's going to be my position today that BSeed, in denying the application, that they were reasonable in doing so. And I just want to, we can get into more detail if you'd like, but I would hang my hat on three different things. First of all, there is a spacing requirement for light duty vehicle service establishments in the city. And that's because the city has an overconcentration problem as a whole. There was a moratorium a few years back that eventually got converted into the spacing requirements. You need a waiver, a spacing waiver for just one establishment within 1,000 feet of another light duty vehicle service establishment. In this case, there are already three other establishments. You saw that there's one right next door, there was one across the street, and there's another one about 600 feet away. So we are already looking at a crowded and over-concentrated presence of these light duty vehicle service establishments in the area. On top of that, I think you heard some of the testimony about there maybe being miscommunication about what was allowed there. This has been an ongoing issue from BSeed's perspective. Included in our filings are a number of correction orders that were issued communicating to the applicant that they're out of compliance with their permitting requirements. And those correction orders go back to 2020. I think you've got at least 6 in front of you, as well as a blight ticket. So this has been an ongoing violation of the city's requirements. And I think I would offer that you can only take the excuses with so much with so much leeway before you start realizing that there is maybe some intentional, I don't want to guess at intentions, but there has been an ongoing violation problem. And BSeed, in making its decision, ultimately decided that there would be injurious impacts to the neighbors, to the environment, and that is only bolstered by the testimony from several of the neighbors who spoke at the public hearing. They complained about operations happening after hours, about parking on the street. They described a situation that was injurious to their businesses, to the use of their properties. And so when you put all that together, it's our opinion that the BSeed was reasonable in making its findings that the required criteria for this special land use had not been met. So I'll stop there and see if you guys have any questions.
Okay. Any questions for the attorney? Member Watson?
Sir, are you aware of any tickets issued by BZ?
Yes, sir. There is at least one ticket that was issued. It's going to be included in the exhibits to my letter. I'm going to get the date for you. That's March 20th, 2024. There was a blight violation notice that was issued. And then that was on the heels of some correction orders that go back to 2020.
And what was the violation? Cease and desist or?
Yes, it said reading from the letter, directed applicant to cease violations that consist of storing inoperable and or unlicensed vehicles on the premises, storing vehicles in the right of way, and storing tires on the exterior of the property.
Thank you.
And what's the status of these tickets? Are they still open or have they been satisfied?
I don't have that information. I'm not sure if we have anyone from BC that can speak to that.
I mean, my guess is if you guys brought them up now, they're probably still open, but that's an assumption on my part. Oh, Inspector Ramos? Do you know if these tickets are still open or if they've been satisfied?
Hello, I'll have to take a moment to verify.
Okay, let us know when you have an answer, please. Any other questions for the board? Member Bowman?
Yeah, just kind of going back to this idea of the criteria and injurious or adverse impact on neighboring businesses, community or environment. What specific problems were brought up as possibly being injurious by this business?
Sure. Well, that kind of language appears throughout the findings that were made. So I think if it's all right, I can go through them individually and we can talk about that. So the first, I guess just to backtrack, in order to approve the conditional land use, BC needs to make 15 findings. And those are all set forth in code sections 50-3-281. In this case, BC determined that 4 of those criteria could not be met based on the information that was available to them. So regarding decision criteria 1, that's that they were not able to find that the proposed use would not be detrimental to or endanger the social, physical, environmental, or economic well-being of surrounding neighborhoods. And so in this case, BC, they were not able to make that finding because they had found that the applicant had been illegally operating the property as a auto repair facility, despite not having a permit to do so, and that they had performed work in the public right of way without a permit. And as I noted, that there were a number of violations that continued to be cited, leveled against the applicant. They were also unable to make the finding at decision criteria number 2, which is that the property would not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity. In this case, there are 3 other light duty vehicle service establishments in the area, including one right next door and then one across the street. And those are in this case, the BC also referred to the testimony from members of the public that underscored how this prior legal operation was having an injurious impact on their use and enjoyment of property. So in that case, one of the other nearby property owners came and provided some statements about how applicant had engaged in business after hours, parked in front of neighboring property, and or on the sidewalk, and otherwise disrupted traffic. So the operations at this site, appears to be having a negative effect on the neighbors who are trying to operate similar businesses.
Are those observations by BC or these complaints or?
Those were observations that were made by other members of the public. I went back and looked at the public hearing that BC had, and 2 people spoke in opposition to the project. I think at least one of them is here today, so you might hear from them. But these are the owners of neighboring businesses, who are trying to coexist in this space with the applicant, and they're talking about just having a really negative experience with their neighbor, in this case, the applicant.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, we've had other cases where BC determined that they recommended conditions and then would put it to us as to whether or not to grant a variance regarding spacing matters. I'm wondering why in this case that was not a decision made by BC, that instead they went directly for denial.
Well, in this case, it seems BC was unable to make 4 of the required 15 findings. They had a history of non-compliance. They had a pretty strong testimony from the neighbors saying that this was negatively impacting their business. And so rather than, decide that they were almost there and a couple of conditions would do the trick, they decided, I think reasonably, that it was more appropriate to simply deny the application for the special land use. Again, there is over concentration. This area is oversaturated with these kinds of vehicle services, uses. And I know that this one's been operating out of compliance for years, but it's a problem in the area. If you've got 4 within 1,000, within the 1,000-foot radius, that's a lot of, very similar uses in the area. So you've got, traffic, congestion, noise, pollution, that sort of thing. And it's exactly the kind of over concentration that the Detroit City Code was revised to try to address.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the attorney?
Member Carr.
Member Carr?
Thank you for being here. You mentioned that 4 of the 15 criteria were not met and that criteria number 1 and 2 were not. What were the other 2?
Thank you for picking me up on that because I did stop halfway through. The other 2 were decision criteria 10 and 13. 10 relates to that they were not able to find that the proposed use would conform to the applicable use regulations, dimension requirements, development standards, and other requirements of the zoning ordinance. In this case, BC really relied on the fact, the overconcentration issue, that there were 3 other very similar uses within 1,000 feet. And so they were reasonably not able to make that finding. Decision criteria 13 was basically BC being unable to determine that the proposed use would not involve activities, processes, materials, equipment, or conditions of operation that would be detrimental to the physical environment or to the public health and welfare by reason of excessive noise, traffic congestion, and disruption to the adjoining neighborhood. So again, we have an overconcentration. We have neighbors that are being negatively impacted. We've got parking on the street, the hours. It just it adds up. And it really does, at the end of the day, make it look like BC's determination at the time was reasonable.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the attorney? Okay, and none, thank you. We don't need to hear from the other departments, right? All right, we'll switch over to the approval criteria. We can have you back down. I keep saying approval criteria. All right, so we need to pull up those same questions that we had last time. And Mr. Bowman, if you could do 1 and 2. And as I said before, if there's bullet points in your question, if we could just do 1 bullet point at a time.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one quick question of the applicant before we start?
Yes.
Can you tell me when you purchased the property?
2019, ma'am.
Thank you.
Member Bowman?
Okay. And I ask preemptively that the appellant please speak, petitioners, please speak into the mic so when we for each response, so it's clear that we hear every single word, even those like myself who apparently don't hear as well as perhaps some of the others. Number 1, and I'm going to do these bullet points 1 at a time. So the first part, you're going to explain the current use of the subject property.
The current use is under a dealership.
Okay, and your intended use of the subject property.
The light duty vehicle repair.
Okay, your relationship to the subject property's owner.
Translator and consultant.
And why you requested the conditional land use approval from BC.
Like he mentioned, there are like 3 other auto repairs in the vicinity, none bilingual. We want to open up mostly to help the Latino community because that's just to help out, to, of course, give him a livelihood, but so that the Latin people that cannot speak English can go to him. And a lot of times they go to other mechanics. There's the language barrier. and they just feel that he's more trusted within the Latin community.
Okay, thank you. And then number 2, we have 2 more bullet points here. Before BC can approve any conditional land use request, it must make each of the 15 findings outlined in section 50-3-281. So first of all, in your opinion, why does your proposed conditional land use satisfy each of those findings?
Unfortunately, we're not gonna lie, all land use findings were agreed upon. The tickets he paid, he did not because of the language barrier. He didn't know about tickets or anything. Then that's when he came to me and I said, you know, you have to comply with the city. There's ordinances. Now he's got everything straightened out. But the findings, I'm not gonna sit here and said, I'm not gonna lie, they are agreed upon.
Okay, and next part, what evidence did you present to BC prior to its denial decision that demonstrated you satisfied each of those required findings?
We did not present enough proposed evidence as signatures or support from the Latin community, which we have presented today.
Okay, but you did not present those then.
No, sir, we were very unprepared. He just told me like the next day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Member Watson.
Number
The next
3,
two, please.
it is your contention that BZ erred in issuing this denial. What specific error did BC commit?
I think the specific error that BC commit was not was overlooking in general the Latin community. Yes, he speaks about 3 auto parts, but they are not bilingual. They do not service, they do service the Latin community, but the Latinos, if there's a language barrier, they can't go to them.
Number 4, you are appealing before the board seeking to overturn BC's denial. What relief are you seeking? I'm going to list the 3. Are you requesting the board reverse BC's decision? Are you requesting the board modify BC's decision? Are you requesting the board remand BC's decision for a new public hearing? What is your request? One of the 3.
He would like for BC to modify their decision and within the spacing, if not, then to reverse.
So you're looking for a modification of the.
Of the spacing, sir? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Go ahead, Member Watson.
So all of this time, he bought the property 2019?
Yes, yes.
And the person you bought it from, you did not know they were in violation of all the zoning?
No sabías que era
Did you?
auto parts.
No, you know, the guy, the one I buy the building, he have like a hoses inside, and he told me he fix cars and everything. So he sold me the building like a mechanic shop. Somebody fixed me supposed to be all the permits, but he told me the name is Mike Simmons. He told me you can do everything, sold cars and fix. And then I get a ticket. I tried to fix everything, but when the COVID come, the city closed everything, and they put something that you can open another garage together. So everything was closed, and this way I wait a lot of time to fix everything.
So
Thank
he
you.
trusted a Mike Simmons in 2020 once he got all the tickets to do the permits.
Say
And that,
again.
¿Cómo se llama? Mike Simmons.
he trusted a Mike Simmons. He paid him to do when he got the violations. he looked for a consultant or somebody that worked, and his name is Mike Simmons, paid him money to fix all the permits, and unfortunately, he did not. And he told him, yeah, you could go ahead and, do it as a repair shop because, like he said, pero están los hoists, ¿verdad? The hoists and everything were already there. So he was assuming that. And now, ¿has pagado todos los tickets? Todos, desde el 2024. He is stating that he has paid each ticket dating back to 2024.
And that
he's
has
just
been
trying-
verified that he does not have any fees owed at this time.
Thank you, sir.
Mr.
Any other
Chair,
questions for the petitioner?
I have one other question.
Member Carter?
I know you've been working as his consultant. How far back did your relationship go? When did he start having a translator consultant working with him?
As of November 2025.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
So, so in 2019, he bought basically a property that was zoned and approved to be a auto sales business. And in his name, it says auto sales. So I find it somewhat disingenuous that you're telling the board that it was originally purchased to be light duty repair.
¿Por qué lo pusiste auto sales?
Can you explain that?
¿Por qué lo pusiste auto sales y no auto sales y repair? Porque ya no te están creyendo que, ¿sí me entiendes? ¿Cuándo pusiste? El auto sales en lugar de auto sales y repair. Él quiere saber.
Okay. The thing when I buy the building, the building was supposed to sold cars, not to fix. No, when I buy the building, they have already permit to sold cars. But the thing is, let me try. See, the guy, the one was there. He have hoists and everything. So the first thing I want to do when I buy the building is buy cars, fix it, and sold it, the cars. So the thing when I just start the business, I buy cars in the auction and I fix the cars, but the inspectors go all the time and give me a ticket because supposed to be the building don't have permit to fix cars. So yeah, so now I can fix no cars in there, even if the cars is mine from the dealership. Yeah. Yeah, when I buy the building, the guy told me they have a permit for dealership and fix cars in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Él me dijo que sí, pero.
Okay, you can go ahead and step back. We're going to move into public comment now. If you would please pay attention to the public comments that are made. If there's anything that is negative or concerning to the public about your project, you'll have an opportunity to come back up and rebut those comments. So we're going to open up public comment first in the auditorium. So if you're here today to make public comment specific to 2910 Central, please approach the podium. 2910 Central, public comment. Sir, if you could please state your name and address.
First name is Michael, last name is Keynes. I own Keynes Brothers Auto Tech Center. First name Michael, last name is Keynes. I own Keynes Brothers Auto Tech Center, which is right next door to Checo's Auto Sales.
You need an address, please.
Huh?
Raise your right hand for me. Confirm your testimony for the board today is true.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes.
Before Checo even bought the place and everything, it used to be called Red's Auto Sales. And that's the only thing that place ever sit there
Can
and
you
did.
speak a little bit more into the microphone?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Red's Auto Sales, and the only thing that they've ever did out of there was sell cars. And I knew the two owners, the owner that died, Mr. Red, Mrs. Red, and their son. Their son and everything was sitting there working in the place and everything when the two parents and everything decided and everything just to leave the place. They sold the place and everything to Checo's. And when they sit and sold the place to Checos and everything, they have always sit and told me and everything, the only thing that this place has ever been for is auto sales only. And ever since the Checos has bought the place, he's never sold any cars out of the place. He's been nothing but a mechanic shop right next door. Checos right next door on the other side at 2930 is Central Auto Service. My address is right next door to Checos is 2896 Central. Ever since Checo's ever been there, I don't think it has been, it's just a big disturbance all the way through. Cars parked on the street, tow trucks sitting in the street, backing into the yard, sitting basically shutting Central down for the whole entire time. Every time and everything, the city came and shut them down a few times. They turned right around and opened back up. There was a few times the stuff and everything that like we stayed late at night, sitting working on our own personal stuff or sitting just doing paperwork and everything at our own facility. And late at night, there was a couple of times and everything where people actually brought their cars over late at night. There was one incident back in February, I think it was like February the 8th, I believe it was, that a guy said and brought his car over there, parked it on my property. I drove over there because I'm only a couple minutes away. I drove over there, asked him, what do you know? I'm like, can I help you? You got a tow truck and a black F-150 sitting in the back of the tow truck. The guy told me and everything. He said, oh, I'm dropping his car off over here to Checo's over here. I said, Checo's is shut down. They said, no, we drop cars off over here every now and then at late at night and everything. And they come over here after work hours and they come over here and they work on cars. So, but ever since the Checo's ever been over there, I mean, it's just been chaotic the whole entire time. Checo's and everything, as far as I know of and everything, is every time they shut them down, he goes right back over there to open it back up, basically making a mockery of the city.
Thank you, sir.
How's everybody sitting there doing? I mean,
I got you. I think we got a good understanding. Thank you, sir.
I have a question for you. How long have you been in business over there?
we opened up everything in 2023. I bought the building and everything back in 2012, and we worked on it like on the weekends, overtime, and everything ever since I purchased the building back in 2012.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other people in the auditorium that want to make public comment? Seeing none, we'll switch to our virtual participants. If you're out there on Zoom and you want to make a public comment specific to 2910 Central, please raise your hand. 2910 Central, public comment specific to that address. Anybody, Director?
Sherry.
Sherry, if you could please unmute yourself. We need your first and last name, your address, and the inspector will swear you in and you'll have 2 minutes. Sherry.
Hi, my name is Sherry Burton. My address is 9093 Brighton, Detroit 48204.
Do you affirm your testimony before the board today is true?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, Sherry.
Okay, I just want to be clear because my notice referenced 2910 Central, but it also says between Majestic and West Warren. And I looked up the parcel numbers, which are actually on the notice, and it's really for those parcel numbers, I should say, is for 7312 Central. If that's the case, I'm totally in opposition. We have an over concentration of vehicle happenings on Central specifically. So if it's actually 2910, I have nothing to say. But if it's gonna be 7312 Central, I'm in opposition.
It's actually the 2910 7312 Central is a case that we have. It's coming up. It's not scheduled yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, it sounds like. Anybody else, Director Brown?
That's it.
Okay, we're going to close out the public hearing. Would you like to make a rebuttal? Okay, come on back down to the podium.
The one we're looking up. Yep.
One, he claimed he knew the previous owner and they only did sales. So how would you explain 5 hoists that were there previous? If you're only selling cars, why would you have engine hoists? Not just one, but 5. He does have pictures. we did rectify. He is working at a certified mechanic in another mechanic shop. That's why they were dropping off cars there. We did apologize, but even now, we have pictures of him, his clients parking all in front of his store. Yes, ¿desde cuándo no has trabajado para nada?
2 años, 2 years,
What year?
2023.
Since 2023, when Dafir Hassan shut him down, he has not opened the doors. He has not performed any mechanic services at all. He does right now work for a. ¿Dónde trabajas? ¿Ahorita estás trabajando?
Con DKs and Springs.
He's working for DK's in Springwells as an auto mechanic, making 1/3 of his income.
Thank
¿Qué
you.
más quieres decir de lo que dijo él? Dile de la cerveza y todo eso.
No, eso no, sí,
No, sí.
no, son
No
súper
puedes.
okay. And another thing, I have two doors in my building. So my two neighbors all the time, now the building is closed, but all the time they park closing my doors. So I don't say nothing about that because the building is closed, but I don't care if you the guy is not otra persona. I don't care if you the park, if the building is closed. But he told me, he say my customers parking and here parking, but sometimes the people, they don't know nothing, they leave the cars in her parking, but he can call the police and take the car and tow truck to somewhere, you know? If some, ¿no?
¿Tú no haces igual?
¿De qué? ¿De qué?
¿Qué estás diciendo?
Okay, you know, I want to tell him, if you somebody park in her parking, just call the tow truck and take it to the police or something, you know? Because the customers, sometimes the customers, they don't understand nothing. Just leave the cars and call next day. Another thing, if you guys let me open something, I can leave my gates open. If some tow truck and go to my shop, they can go through it and just leave the car outside. Just to not make problems to him and to another neighbor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Attorney Greenwood, would you like to make any last comment?
Thank you for the opportunity. I think I just want to come back to the idea that, just remind everyone that we are essentially just reviewing the decision that BC made based on the information that they had available. There are a lot of, it seems like there's community support. I'm very sympathetic to that. And different personalities. It sounds like there's maybe a lengthy history of misunderstanding or just language barrier, that sort of thing. So a lot of that, you guys have a difficult decision to make. You have to hear all the human side of stuff. But I do just want to kind of bring you back to, what BC has to do, and they have to evaluate the information available to them against the criteria that's set out in the city code. City code is extremely specific about overconcentration, specifically about motor service establishments. There was a moratorium, there are the spacing requirements, and that's really hard to look past at the end of the day. And then when you add that to, a lengthy paper history of violations, correction orders that go all the way back to 2020, it makes the decision a little bit easier, because based on all that information, I think that BC was, at the end of the day, reasonable in determining that it couldn't make all the findings that would be necessary to allow yet another vehicle service establishment in this space. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Attorney.
Mr. Chair, I have one question for Mr. Greenwood.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry.
When the review is made in this situation, was translation services made available to the applicant?
Having watched the public hearing, I see that Ms. Black she was making the appearance. I don't believe the owner was present for that. But I know that Ms. Black was representing the owner during that public hearing.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, we'll go into a board member only discussion, and a motion is always in order. Member Bowman.
Yeah, I just, first of all, I want a clarification again. So there were not translation services available?
This is just based on my observation of the public hearing, but not interpretation services separate from the consultant.
Okay, and also, do you recall if either of the people who spoke in opposition today were present or spoke at that hearing?
Yes, I believe the gentleman that first testified also testified at the public hearing when BC originally heard this.
Thank you.
Yeah, the second lady wasn't for this hearing. She
sorry?
she referenced a different address. She actually wasn't making comment about this particular.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we're only talking about the one
That's
person who's
a
present in the
future case that she was
Yeah.
wanting to talk about.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
So there's, at the original hearing, there was one more person that spoke and that person did not speak today.
All right. Thank you, Attorney. Greenwood. Okay, we'll enter into board only discussion, and a motion is always in order. Member Watson.
So the case before us now, the establishment has been operating illegally since it was purchased. The owner, petitioner, has a name, Auto Sales. It was previously an auto sales establishment. The petitioner then proceeded to do auto repair. The city violated the petitioner several times, going all the way back to 2020. We started in 2019. There's one concept that's always has to be considered is if you, when you come before a court or any quasi court, you have to come with clean hands. You can't be totally in violation outside the requirements of the law and then request that when you get caught, that we overturn the justice system, which is to shut you down as a non-compliant business. In BC, in this instance, between the time they made the consideration of these 15 issues in that time frame, this establishment was in total violation of the zoning ordinance. They had been ticketed. And now they come before us to overturn the justice of the situation in BC trying to fulfill their duties. And I would definitely not be in favor of overturning BC's decision for denial.
Okay. Any other comments? Member Bowman?
Yeah, I wanted to put a question. I'm thinking perhaps I should ask Attorney Savage about this. Clarification on the various options we have before us, because there's among those, when we were asking the petitioner about this, included remanding a decision back to BC as opposed to overturning. And it didn't seem like the appellant today wanted to do that, but is that something we can do?
Loaded question, mainly because I know that that's one of the things that we've had in the guidance document, but I would state that would only be something reserved for if you felt that there was some type of procedural issue or something to be taken into consideration that needed to be redone. If you're thinking about taking into consideration new things that you've heard today, that's not really appropriate in my opinion. So I don't, definitive answers are not my thing sometimes. Everything
Well,
is relative
I could be
to,
clear what I'm thinking about.
okay.
What I'm thinking about is in terms, first of all, I don't think there was an error in decision based upon if this other one matter hadn't been an issue. And the other matter I think is an issue is the language barrier. And that I'm concerned that he did not get a fair hearing because of the language barrier, even if otherwise BC was correct in their
This
decision.
is not.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not sure how BC handles that for their public hearings. I know for this particular public hearing and in general, um, in our new set of rules that are to be published soon, we do insert the interpreters. The city provides interpretation services, so we do encourage people to go through Creo and have an official interpreter. When we started our hearing today, I asked specific questions about, on the record, about could he understand me and did he need an interpreter? And he said no. So I would encourage the board, all the statements that are being made on the record, sworn testimony, are being put forth with the understanding that they are true statements. And so what it was told to us just today was that that he could understand everything and he did not need an interpreter. He does have a consultant, but she's operating where she filed to appear to represent him. And so she is able to, fluently speak both languages as well, but she's here in the capacity of a consultant. When we have an interpreter, that is a very, as you've seen before, it's a very tedious process where the person has to repeat every single thing that's being said. So that's the reason why I asked those questions. So I wouldn't be comfortable with that being the basis of a remand based off of the statements that were placed on the record today.
Thank you.
And further, I think Attorney Greenwood has testified that Ms. Black was actually at the hearing herself. Correct?
What she said, I believe on the record today, is that she's been around since November 2025.
So she was actually at the meeting.
That as well. But again, I want to be clear that she's operating to represent him in the matter. And I know that gets kind of confusing, but here as a consultant, it just comes in handy that she's bilingual. But when you need an official interpreter, each petitioner has a right to have an interpreter that we secure through Creo. And that is what the beginning of my questioning was today. And he said that he could understand everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other discussion with the board? I would personally, I tend to agree with Member Watson. Purchased an auto sales business in 2019. The name of his business includes the words auto sales. So my gut tells me that either one of two scenarios, either he bought a business and was going to do auto sales himself, which is why he named it that, or he bought a business and realized that auto sales wouldn't necessarily be allowed, so he named himself Auto Sales and waited for the opportunity at some point in time for the dust to clear to where he could start doing repair services instead. And I can speak, excuse me, I can speak to similar uses that are in the area. And the reason that those lifts are there is because typically these people aren't dealing in new cars, they're dealing in used cars. So they go to the auction, they get a car that's in need of repair, they bring it back to their facility, they use the hoist and everything that they have to repair the vehicle there, which is allowed because they own the vehicle. It's not a vehicle that's being brought in by the public. They actually own the vehicle, they repair the vehicle there, and then they put the vehicle up for sale. So that's the reason that those hoists are there. So anyway, and they're just, it really rubbed me the wrong way when I seen that there was a claim made that he had support from the from the Department of Neighborhoods with the mayor's office, and then it turned out that that was a false claim. So I think we have somebody that he appears before us today, and he looks as though he's a good person. However, the deeds and the things that he's doing are just not compliant with the city, and I think the city was in their correct rights to shut him down. So in my opinion, I would not be in favor of reversing BC's decision. Any other comments, or can we get a motion? And again, the motion needs to include those 15 criteria. Member Watson.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I make a motion that we uphold BC's decision to deny based upon the fact, first of all, in the case of BZ 2026-00034, 2910 Central Street, I make a motion that we uphold BC's decision to deny the petitioner based upon the fact that at BC's findings that
Member Carr, second.
281, finding 1, finding 1, that the establishment maintain the location and operation of the proposed conditional use would not be detrimental or endanger the social, physical, environmental, economic well-being of the surrounding neighborhood. BC found that it would. Finding 2, the conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of the property in the immediate vicinity. BZ found that it would be. 3, the conditional use will not be substantially diminish the impair the property value within the neighborhood, not a consideration. Number 4, the conditional use shall not be inconsistent with the goals and objective of the Detroit Master Plan. And I believe 4 was identified as a issue with BZ, but that is the fourth issue BC found in our record here is BC is unable to make the required finding that the requested use will not involve activities, processes, materials, equipment, or conditions of operation that will be detrimental to the physical environment or the public health and general welfare by reason of excessive production of noise, smoke, fumes, flare, and odor, and noted for making the finding. This was the number 4 criteria that as found by BZ. Number 5, and the rest throughout, if I believe 9 was identified also. Number 9, the conditional use would not hinder the have a detrimental upon the turning patterns and egress and traffic flow. The other issues were, the other 15 were not considered the issue. But based on the 4 findings by BZ, I would oppose their decision. So moved, so made.
I'll second.
Motion, proper second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
BZA case 2026-00034, Chico's Auto Sales LLC appealing the decision of BC to deny the establishment of a light-duty vehicle service establishment. That denial has been upheld. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to switch over to general public comment. If you're in the auditorium today and you'd like to make a general public comment, please come up to the podium. Seeing nobody, we'll switch over to our virtual public comment. If you're out there on Zoom and you'd like to make a general public comment, please raise your hand. General public comment, please raise your hand. See anybody, Director Brown?
No hands.
No hands. So we're going to close out public comment. Our next hearing date is August 17th, 2026. Any advisements?
No advice.
Any old business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
motion to adjourn properly seconded. All those in favor? Aye. And we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.